Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man! At your service. This a little tiny video, sort of like an extension of what I discussed a couple of videos ago, which struck a very emotive chord with me and with many of you guys too, because I got so many responses and private messages about this. British teenager Nora Quoirin went missing in Malaysia with her parents. She went missing out of her room after only a day being there, and she had special needs, and she had a special a brain sort of defect. She couldn't walk far. She never walked anywhere without anyone attending to her, and she went missing. And 10 days later, inevitably, I mean, if you watched the video beforehand, or if you've seen the news, then you'll know about it anyway. Her body was found, and now they're saying it was partially clothed. When I reported on this last time, her body was unclothed, and anyway, the Malaysian authorities are now saying that she died of starvation, and she died 3 days before her body was found. She was missing for 10 days. Her body was found by a stream in a place that had been searched before. Remember that. The place where she was found had been searched prior to her body being found. So are they inept searchers, or had the body been put there afterwards? Look, folks, I'm not going to be casting my own suppositions, my own assumptions upon this, but I am deeply aggrieved by this story. It's really bothered me, and I did a big story on it beforehand, and it would be wrong for me not to follow it up with current events and current discoveries. The Malaysian authorities airlifted her body out of there. It was identified obviously by the parents, and how horrific must that have been. And their investigations proved, or said, that there was no they're clinging to the fact there was no abduction taking place and no kidnapping, and they said there's no evidence of sexual abuse or violence, and yet she died of intestinal bleeding as a result of prolonged starvation and stress. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong here. Does starvation bring on intestinal bleeding? Does it? Does it? No, if it does. And by the way, I've done survival training. I know a fair bit about this shit as well. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You starve, and you can go a long time without food. A long time. Now, she's only 15, and she had medicinal issues, so she had to have certain medications, which could have led to a lot of complications, obviously. Why would starvation lead to severe intestinal bleeding, internal bleeding? Why? Why? They said stress as well. Okay, stress can do a lot of things, it can, but I have a really horrible, and I'm look, this could come across as like, Malaysia, you are lying. Your authorities are lying about this, and I don't want that to be the case. But I do think, in my heart of hearts, you're lying. You are lying about this. There's something very, very iffy about this case. My heart broke when this poor girl was reported as going missing. I've seen her picture, I've seen her image, and oh God, you know, it breaks my heart even now, even just talking about it. And, you know, for God's sake, but I don't trust what they're saying at all. Do you? Really? Do you believe what they're saying? She went missing. She climbed out. She couldn't walk unattended for more than like a couple of yards without someone, you know, being two people being beside her. She climbed out of a window and then went a mile and a half away from the resort to go and look at this stream, this waterfall, which she was so looking forward to. And by the way, they'd only been there for a day. They'd been there for a day. So she had no idea where this thing was or where she was going. And apparently she takes herself off and goes out there and then gets, well, I don't know, what is their story? That she gets lost and wanders around and then falls over and eventually dies of starvation and stress. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I think what's the thing about, like, you know, tourism in Malaysia? Do they not want people to think that shit can happen out there? So please, look, she just went out there and this is just a tragic accident. Hey, folks, it may be that case. It may be. But I'm going on what the parents and the family have said. And they know her better than anybody. And they're saying there's no way on earth that she would have climbed out that window and gone out for a walkabout. It wouldn't have happened. And they're still maintaining that abduction is the thing. And this, you know, this Malaysian autopsy, you know, or forensic bloody, you know, verdict that she died of intestinal bleeding brought on by starvation and stress. What? I've never fucking heard of that shit before in my life. Intestinal bleeding brought about by stress and starvation. You can go without food for many, many, many days. I'm not saying a girl in her condition or anyone in their condition could have done. Water is the thing which kills you. If you can't get, you can survive without food for quite a hell of a long time. More than 10 days. You can do it. 10 days, 15 days, so long as you've got water. And she's by a stream, her body was found. Look, I don't know the ins and outs, the big circumstances, but what I'm saying to you guys is, like, I'm doing this because my heart broke over this story, and I'm still massively invested in this story. And you know, if I could help the parents in any way, shape, or form, I'm not saying this video isn't going to help, but I don't believe what the Malaysian authorities are saying now. And the great thing is, her body will be repatriated back to the UK, and a proper full forensic post-mortem will be done. So hopefully that will throw a lot more light on what really happened, because I, in my heart of hearts, do not believe what they're saying. I have never heard of anyone dying of starvation with intestinal bleeding because of starvation. What brings that on? Stress and starvation brings on, you know, gastro bleeding. Where the fuck? You know, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I want resolution to this story. I definitely want something. You, me, everyone watching this video may never know what happened there, and maybe we should never find out. That's fine. That's fine. But I want, Nora's parents to be, to have that resolution, that clarity as to what really happened. And if they are happy with what, not happy, if they are okay with the results, the genuine results by a UK forensic investigation, then brilliant. So long as they're happy and they get that resolution, that resolve to what really happened there, however nasty, tragic it may be, and it may be that she did just wander off. It may be that, I went on at length last time about paedophiles and abductions, and how could you ever pick on someone with special needs, or how could you ever pick on a child anyway, But my mind is still not. I'm still clouded a lot about this particular story, and it does bother me a hell of a lot. And I just did she wander off? You can hear noises above us because the dog Roxy, the wonder dog, is now. She wants to go out for a midnight walk, and she is now getting a bit annoyed, and she's playing around upstairs. But hey, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point of this video is that I wanted to do a bit of an update on what's happened. If you watch the news, then you'll know this anyway. But this is Kilt-Man's catch up on it. I'm not happy with what they've said. I struggle to believe their initial verdict about this bleeding. You don't bleed when you're starving. You don't. I just don't get that. I do not get that at all. Is it because, do we have, and the weird thing is the reporting of this, it's really not in the mainstream of media reports. Very often, when a child has gone missing, it's all over the news, or a child's been murdered, it's all over the news. But this was, I never saw it on mainstream TV much at all. It probably was. I didn't see much of it. And when it was on, it was a little tiny snippet. It was mainly online that we got to know about this, and in radio broadcasts as well. And so, radio news reports, BBC, that'd be. And so it was just like, what's going on here? There's something about this does not ring true. Is it just me? Is it just me? If it's just me, then please tell me, because the last thing I want to do is go and be scaremongering and upsetting people. But I'm upset over this, and I genuinely don't see how their verdict is meeting. Things aren't gelling at all. Do you get me? Do you understand what I'm saying? A girl that can't walk unattended gets out of a bedroom window and goes a mile and a half away from the resort, and then is found. Oh, initially she was declared unclothed. Now they're saying partially clothed. Okay, well, it's hot out there. Maybe she did take things off. Who knows? She did. Apparently, she walked through water. This is the river, the stream. She was going towards this. Well, apparently she was fixated on its waterfall. She wanted to go and see. And I don't know how far away from the waterfall her body was found. But the point is, they'd searched that area beforehand, for fucking 10 days. And then all of a sudden, 3 days ago, her body is found in a place where it's been searched. Well, alarm bells must ring there. She didn't just suddenly fucking appear. It's almost like someone has abducted her and then dumped the body. Anyway, we can all make up our own versions as to what may have transpired there. The point is, a family has lost a gorgeous, beautiful girl who was vulnerable, but the the shining diamond of their life, and she's been taken from them somehow. And what's happening out there in Malaysia does not ring true to me. If I'm wrong, please, tell me that I'm wrong. But obviously, give me your evidence, because what I'm saying is like what the authorities have said there does not ring true at all. You don't die of starvation with intestinal bleeding. You don't. So what's going on there? Caused by stress and prolonged starvation. Prolonged starvation. As I've said before, you can live without food for many days. Even a girl in her condition could survive without food as long as she got water. But it's supposition on my part at the moment. I want the British verdict. I want the British medical teams to look at this and come up with something. And I want to hear what they say, because I mean nothing to that family. I mean nothing. But my heart goes out to them completely, and it has really upset me, this story. And if they find out things I don't expect to know, if they get told things in private, which I would expect to be the case, and they don't want it made public, fine. I'm fine with that. God, but my mind is just so destroyed and imploded and exploded with ideas about this, and none of them are good. And I do sense, I hate to use the phrase cover up, but I do sense that kind of thing taking place. And I am no scaremonger. I'm no fucking X-Files. I love all that shit, but I don't go out looking for it. But something about this story does not add up. I'm looking at what the parents say. I'm looking at what the Malaysian authorities are saying, and this does not add up. Someone, somewhere, knows a hell of a lot more than what we're getting told, and that's not a good thing. A 15-year-old girl has lost her life. A tragically, already vulnerable girl has lost her life in a dream holiday location, and her family will never be the same again. And it's catastrophically horrible. So, folks, this is a little follow-up to the video I did before, and Kilt-Man is still here. Kilt-Man is still hey-ho, gung-ho. But, I'm not going to let things like this go and just lie down and forget about them. I won't do that. Because, unbelievably, well, not unbelievably, I've got the picture of Nora, the poor deceased girl, on the screen behind me right now. And, it's genuinely heartbreaking to look at it. Tragedies happen all the time. The UK is just absolutely ridden with knife crime. It's horrendous. It's just endless every day. Someone's being knifed. Someone's being shot. We had a report only literally today well, in the last 24 hours, of a police officer who was apparently dragged behind a car and was murdered. And 10 people, including a 13-year-old boy, were arrested because of this. I mean, was he hit by a car and then dragged by the car? Or was he genuinely caught and killed and beaten and dragged behind? I added that bit there. But you know, who knows? Because they haven't said. But their words are he was dragged behind a car. Not under it, but dragged behind it. Which kind of makes you think like he was tied to a car and dragged. And he was answering to a report of a burglary. So he got married only before he was 28 years old. So you've got this shit going on all the time. You know, look, I know, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're watching this, there is shit happening by you. Of course there is. There just always is. And I think media, because you've got this immediate access to, people can like get news feeds and Twitter and Facebook and fucking Snapchat and all that bullshit, like, you know, so things get reported very quickly. And before, you know, you watch the news on TV, headlines today, you know, before you get that, you've already seen a news feed on your phone or your laptop or your whatever device. So it's immediately circulated, and it becomes, you become kind of, you know, immune to it. Or rather, I think a lot of people do become immune to it. I don't. You know, as I say, this particular story about Nora Quoirin really, I don't know, hurt. And then a policeman being dragged behind a car. What? You gotta stop this shit. What's wrong? What the hell is going wrong now? You know, has it always been this way? And it's just that, as I said before, because media now, we have immediate access to all this kind of stuff, so we know about these things pretty much immediately, and it just seems to be there's more and more and more of them. But maybe these things were happening all the time, but because we didn't have the media before, you weren't aware of it. I don't know. You're just watching the news on the TV, which would just obviously pick and choose and cherry pick its snippets of stuff. And we all know the mass media is, you know, obviously controlled, which it is. Hey, I said I'm going to go into fucking conspiracies, didn't I? And I did. Inevitably I did. But look, so once again, folks, the family of Nora Quoirin, oh Christ, you know, my deepest sympathies. Cannot believe, you know, the devastation you'll be feeling, and I'm with you. You know, I said in the video, if there's anything that I could do to raise awareness, to just raise money, to do whatever, I don't know what, but I'd love to do something. I can't sit here and like talk about this and feel helpless. I'm not that kind of person. I'm a very proactive sort of person, and I believe in justice, and I believe in looking after victims, and you know. So, folks, you know, if you know the family, if you know anybody involved in it, if you are members of the family and you see this, please, you know, Kilt-Man's here, and I don't know what I can do, but you can always get in touch with me. You know, just get in touch on YouTube. I'll do whatever I can. My heart's with you. Something I think is not being told here, and the Malaysian government, the Malaysian authorities just doesn't sound right. And I want justice. I want sort of. Anyway, look, folks, I can go on and get really emotive and really, angry and upset. But I've done it before. This was a follow-up. For all you subscribers, there's more to come. But this is something I had to do to try and, I don't know, I can't leave that story where it was, and now we've got more information, or more lack of information, or more disinformation. I can't let it go. So, folks, anyway, listen. Have yourselves a good night and a great weekend. I've got plenty more to come. Over yonder is more masks. Yes, more masks have turned up. So great stuff. But beyond all that, for Nora, hearts go out to you and and your mum and dad and your family. So please, folks, spare a thought tonight and keep your own kith and kin close. Watch out for him, because dangerous world out there, dangerous world. So please, all of you, be safe, be happy, have fun, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all. Good to see you soon. Okay.